All right, I know what you guys are all here for. You guys are here for my opinion of the most hated cruisers in World of Warships for 2025. So I'm gonna have a top 5 list in a particular order, and honorable mentions. I'll be going over those first and going to the list. So let me guys know in the comments what you think of the list, and if there's any ones you agree on and you don't. So let's get started on that. So hybrids aren't going to be in this list. So of course, in the honorable mention is going to be the Hildebrand. And oh my God, the Hildebrand. Like, where do I even get started? Like, hybrids have already been a really annoying thing, but no. Let's just make it where you get planes up every 60 stinking seconds. And then on top of that, you have these accurate bombers with pinpoint accuracy that can just nuke destroyers. So not only is this thing capable of perma-spotting you over and over and over again every 60 seconds, and a lot of time they don't even use the torpedoes on you. No. They just hover above you and keep you perma-spotted the whole game. So this thing is an absolute nightmare to deal with in ranked, in randoms. Thank goodness it's banned in clan battles, but this thing is an absolute nightmare. And if hybrids were allowed, this thing would be on the top of the list. But again, most people hate hybrids, so I removed them from my most hated series. I already did destroyers, so we're doing cruisers. So it would be the Hildebrand would be in the honorable mentions. Now there's another honorable mention that's not here. It's technically in the game, but it's not. It's the I'm gonna show the ship. It's the Vyazma, but I'm gonna show the Borodino instead. If you guys remember the Vyazma, okay, they essentially made a Borodino, upped it to tier 9, and switch it to a cruiser slot, which means you got a battleship that was in a cruiser slot at tier 9, and it had a super heal, it had the F key with the special ammo, and oh my God, that thing was broken, and the 12-kilometer radar to top it all off. Like, oh my Lord, this thing, when the experimental ships were being tested, and thank God they haven't done anything like it since, it was an absolute monstrosity, and I hated dealing with them in ranked. It was such a pain in the butt to deal with these Vyazmas in ranked. It was such a horrible. I hated it. It was one of the worst times ever to play ranked. And in randoms, they were just an absolute monster to deal with, because if you had a Vyazma on the enemy team, that means you got one extra battleship essentially than the enemy team. So it was always just a huge conundrum with that. So those are the honorable mentions. Now, going into the actual list, let's start it off with number 5. You guys can write down what you think it's going to be. It is going to be the Kitakami. It's just the reason why its number is the most hated and why everyone just, when you see this ship in the match, you're just going to kill it. It's because it was a pay to whale event. Like the whole Kitakami thing was, whenever this thing was around, everyone agreed that the Kitakami wasn't a good ship. It wasn't worth it, but people just wanted it as a extra port, like an extra port queen, right? Or a extra, what's the word for it? Just an extra snowflake. So a lot of people that had the resources, they just got it and they really don't use it. So if you ever see this thing running around, you know they essentially sold their child, cut off all their limbs, sold their kidneys, livers, and whatever, are living on life support just to have this ship. So that's why it's number 5. It was that. All right, so moving on from the Kitakami, we're moving on to the number 4, which is actually going to be a super ship. It is going to be the Conde. Oh boy, where do I get started? Anyone that knows of the era when this thing first came out and when super ships were in clan battles, oh my God, it was such a nightmare to deal with. This thing could dev strike battleships. It still can. It can dev strike battleships. It can dev strike cruisers. The F key is absurdly broken. A speed boost is just tanky as heck for what it is. Insanely strong, just absolute brute. Very strong AP, very strong HE, torpedoes, hydro, engine boost. It had the works. It was just the most broken super ship in the game. It was the definition of super ships. If you wanted a super ship that was super, this thing would be it. This thing would be in a tier of its own above the Petro. No, never mind, I can't say that. Petro's its own tier. I can't do that, right? I can't do that. Petro's its own tier, all right? So there's that. But no, Conde was an absolute monster of a super cruiser, and it was feared and hated at the same time. You saw it on your team, it was going to be a great match for you. You saw on the enemy, you're going to hate seeing it, and there's the bottom line of that. All right, so moving on from the Conde, we're going to be going on to a tier 9 and 8 pair. It's actually going to be Japanese pair. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's going to be the Azuma and the Yoshino. Yeah. The reason why is because when you see this or you see the Yoshino being played, a lot of the time it's going to be a newbie magnet. So when you see these things, you're most likely... you're seeing newbies playing or newer players, and they're just getting death struck left and right, or they're so far off the map that they're already in the next match, right? They're already in the queue for the next match, and you're never going to see them actually contribute anything. So that's why this is number 3, because it's number 3 for the most hated cruiser, because of that. Because of the fact that when you see this on your team, it means you're going to have essentially one less cruiser on your team. And that's why both the Azuma and the Yoshino are both on here. But the thing is, though, if you do see a good player in this, which is very rare, when you do, they are very hard to kill, and they do an amazing job using both the HE and the AP. But it's usually rare to see a good player playing these. If you guys do see a good player in this, or if you have, or you're a good player yourself, let me know in the comments, because most of these players in the Yoshino or Azuma have no idea how to play it. And most of them are either doing nothing the entire match, or they're just getting death struck the entire match. So either one or the other. All right, moving on to number 2. We're kind of going through this pretty fast, but I know you guys like these more short and sweet. Number 2, you already know what has to be on here. The damn Petro, man. Like, oh my God. This thing, when it first came out, it overtook the entire, every server, it overtook it. Asia, EU, NA, Russia, you know, it doesn't matter what server it was on, it overtook it. It was in randoms, ranked, clan battles. It was absolutely everywhere where it was not banned, it was there. And then on top of that, they added the legendary mod that not only made its AP, which is already able to Citadel battleships and Death Strike cruisers, it made it even more accurate. It made where one of its weaknesses was where it wasn't as accurate long distance into where it could then snipe longer distances with that AP or HE. The thing has, I don't know why they did this, but like, why the hell did they give this thing 360 turrets at the back? Like, it doesn't need that. And the front turrets are 360. It's like, bro, this thing already has so many gimmicks. And the fact is, you can tell right here, they had to raise the ship higher out of the water because it just didn't get citadeled. It got citadeled less than a battleship. So they had to actually, you see the paint here, they had to actually raise the ship partially out of the water to raise the citadel so it could actually get citadel more. Like, bro, if you're talking about like the game having Russian bias, this ship is the embodiment of Russian bias, and people hate it because it's so hard to kill. It's in almost pretty much every single competitive they can be. It's in the King of Seas right now as this is going on, and then as well as because they did unban it to where you are able to bring it, but you know, teams can ban it still, of course. And when teams don't ban it, you always see a crap ton of Petros being run because people are like, oh yeah, people aren't gonna spam Petros again, are they? Aha, no, they do it every time. Every time I see a Petro not banned on either of the teams in King of the Seas, it's being run. And it's just like, there's no reason why you don't want to bring it. It's just insanely strong. You have 360 turrets, incredibly strong AP, good HE, good fire chance, radar, hydro, good armor, good deck armor. There's so many good things about this ship that why would you not bring it? And that's why it's number 2 on the most hated list. All right, moving on from the Petro. The #1 most hated ship in World of Warships. I think this is going to be a little bit controversial with me, but it's a Smolensk, bro. It is the Smolensk, okay? All right, I want you guys to picture this. If you weren't around then, but when this thing came out, the Smolensk and the Thunderer came out at the same time. These two ships single-handedly changed the entire meta for randoms, for ranked, for whatever game modes they were in, and changed the entire meta to extremely passive. And this was back before a commander rework where they took AFT out of the this was back when there was only one build for ships, so there wasn't like a different skill set for cruisers, battleships, or CVs, right? So essentially now you have different skills for different ships. Back then there was only one, which means that you could build range into Smolensk, which means you could have like an 18-kilometer Smolensk back in the day. And oh my god, dude, this thing is, I don't know who thought this up. Like, bro, look at these guns. They're like anti-air guns, but they're able to shoot every 4.5 seconds, and there's 16 of them. And look at that fire chance, 8.5%. So you're shooting 16 shells every 4.5 seconds to 16 kilometers. Sorry, back in the day it was 18 kilometers. Absurdly insane. And this thing has the no armor, best armor gimmick. So good luck actually citadeling this thing as a battleship player. You're better off shooting HE to actually citadel this thing. Oh my lord, bro. Then they finally nerfed it with a commander rework. And the thing is, the Smolensk and Thunder were both removed like 2 or 3 months after they were put in. It was like right after they removed them, and they've only been available very rarely. Thunder is available in Santa containers. Smolensk has been available for Black Friday auctions or for charity events. The regular one has, but I'm glad this ship isn't really available at all openly, unless you have to pay like an arm and a leg to get it, because this thing is an absolute monster to deal with. And back in the day when this thing was new, like was added new, this thing was an absolute monster. It's so annoying to deal with. It was just the HE spam alone could just farm out battleships, cruisers, you name it, it didn't matter. And if you happen to be within like 9 kilometers, so the thinking skill is like 10 kilometers, right? Yeah, so and you can also build into this as well for essentially free. Because I don't know why this build it is. It's the wrong build. I don't know. But normally you will build into this to get the extra damage for free. Since it has 130 millimeter guns, you're able to get free damage for free. If you're in a destroyer and you spotted this thing within like 8 or 9 kilometers of you and you get spotted, you're just dead. There is no, you'll get away. No. You're just dead. This thing has so many shells coming at you. It's doing like 6K salvos to you, 5 or 6K salvos every time. So you're dead in like 4 or 5 salvos. You're just cooked. You're like absolutely cooked. And I hate this ship so much. It is my most hated ship. It's my most hated cruiser in the game. I absolutely hate this thing. If I see this thing in my match on the enemy team, I will do everything in my power to make sure that person dies right away so they cannot farm out my team, because I know the horrors. I have lived through the horrors of when this thing was not nerfed, and I know what it's capable of, and I will go out of my way to make sure it dies, because it can obliterate your team if it's able to farm and smoke, which is what it excels at. So anyway, sorry I got a little heated there, but you know, I think that this ship deserves the hate that it gets. But anywho, if you guys have your own list of your top 5 hated cruisers for this year, because again, we do this every year where we go over the most hated ships of this year, and of course every year there's going to be new ships that are added. or moved around. So let you guys know what you can think of this list. And if you have your own, make sure to write the comments in those as well. But thank you guys for all watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces.